hour before the explosion. So the gas company had called out a crew, and they knew that, or at least we're hearing, that they may have had information that a line was hit. But I mean, clearly they knew that something was wrong because so many people could smell the gas odor there. So that's what's, you know, as they continue to investigate what happened, and as we heard from Banyan just moments ago, Karen, I mean, it's still, the gas odor there still very strong in that area, not to mention the smoke from the fire. I mean, just when you're around the smoke of a fire, I mean, the stench of that is bad, and then to mix that with the gas smell for people who live in apartments nearby, to have the shock of what's happened to JJ's, the explosion, the ensuing fire, and now the, you know, kind of the, we know that there are people injured, and the gas odor is still there. So a very alarming night for people on the plaza.
Certainly so, and people are naturally rattled by this, especially those who felt it from as far as a mile away. We want to show you a map now of the roads that are closed in case you do have to go near this area. Here's an idea of where we are. 48th and Bellevue, the streets that are closed are 47th, 48th, and Bellevue. So keep that in mind. This area is closed, 47th, 48th, and Bellevue, as you look at the location of this gas explosion. 3 people are still said to be unaccounted for. That is not good news, and we will try to get you an answer on those folks as soon as we can. JJ's workers ran out right after this happened, we were told, and as Brad mentioned, he told you about the layout of the restaurant. We're told that this gas line rupture may have been in an alley right outside, that the wall in the kitchen simply collapsed. But as Brad mentioned, more people would have been in the bar area than the kitchen or the dining room at that hour, because it was just starting the dinner hour. It was around happy hour, and they're said to have a good happy hour there at JJ's, or they used to at JJ's. So more people would have been closer to the bar than the dining room. That's better news, if there is any good news at all. But still, we're now almost an hour, 45 minutes into this, and we are still watching flames burn from this fire at JJ's on the Plaza. You can see the hospital totals there, 4 at KU Med. St. Luke's has 3, and they are said to be in critical condition. 10 walk-ins at St. Luke's and 2 at Research Hospital. I'm happy to report those people at Research are said to be in good condition. We'll try and find out more from our reporters there on the ground. But according to the Associated Press, 3 people are unaccounted for.
Well, and as we heard, Karen, when some of the first eyewitnesses that we spoke to, who talked to us over the phone, who were there right as this all happened, but I mean, they were describing a scene that was just full of panic and chaos, people running out of JJ's. And some of them covered in blood, presumably from lacerations. Some witnesses said were suffering from burns. They were able to set up some of the nurses who live, or there were nurses who lived nearby, who set up a triage area right in a front yard. There were about 5 or 6 people who were treated there. And then, you know, Sandra Olivas spoke to one of the neighbors who came out and you know, was just in a state of shock. He said, "I can't believe it. I just saw somebody walking out of JJ's, you know, covered in blood." And just a stunning situation. This all happening right over the dinner hour on a Tuesday night. You know, we're waiting for a storm to blow in on Thursday, and as far as February's go, a night like tonight, not a bad night to go out to the plaza, enjoy some dinner and maybe some good company. And then for something like this to happen, it has just been a stunning night for people on the plaza.
Just horrific to watch. Our chopper is back up in the air, and we also want to go to Banyan Lee, who has some new information for us. Banyan, you're in the West Plaza area. What can you tell us?
That's right. We're about 1 block west of where the fire is happening. We've been seeing them pull one by one some people behind the police line here, taking them down to the scene. And apparently their ATF is on the scene right now, and that's who some of them are talking to. We're not quite sure. I'm sure that's part of the investigation. We're not quite sure who these people they're pulling down there are. We talked to an employee who works in there. It was his day off today, so we talked to him a little bit about the layout. He said that the dining room is closer to where the explosion actually happened. He said that a lot of the people in the kitchen did get out, but the ceiling was collapsing in on them, and it was just a terrifying scene. As soon as they got to this neighborhood that we're standing in, this almost became an emergency triage scene in and of itself, because a lot of the people just fled right here, and there are a lot of nurses that live in this neighborhood who just started treating them immediately. Now, we've people of note show up to the scene, like the mayor. We saw his security driving him in behind the police line. We also saw city manager Troy Schulte. He was here talking to some folks. I believe he was talking to the manager of JJ's, who was sitting in a police cruiser just behind this tape. I'm going to step out of the scene so you can take a look at our vantage point here. You can see some